Hello and welcome to Hans Christian Andersen Boulevard, behind us, Timberley Gardens Amusement Park, famous place in the middle of Copenhagen city centre. Scott, we're about to start the World Cup roller coaster, aren't we?
Yep.
And I'm afraid there's been some bad news even before Steve Clarke, the players have touched down here in Denmark.
Aye, we've just heard obviously Kieran Tierney's had to pull out the squad.
I don't let me stand up in the step.
No, I just stay here. Aye, Kieran Tierney's out through injury. Anthony Ralston's out as well. So obviously it's a blow to Steve Clarke, the fullback positions. Joe Stoic has been called in. He's playing well just now in Italy, obviously. But Tierney's the big news, really, Jack, wasn't he? Because Kieran Tierney's no managed 90 minutes yet for Celtic since returning for Arsenal in the summer. He's obviously called into the Scotland squad. People kind of question that because he's not played a full game for Celtic yet, and obviously now he's pulled out. How concerned are you about Kieran Tierney generally and his fitness?
I think it is a worry. I also think his form is a worry as well. And to be perfectly honest with you, maybe this has solved a potential problem for Steve Clarke. I think Scotland needed to stay with a back four. I think if Kieran Tierney comes back in, Steve Clarke has got an issue there because he might have to go with the five. I think we're better as a four. I don't think Kieran Tierney's form, judging by what we saw in the Old Firm game, was really that impressive. I'm not sure, even with Kieran Tierney here fit, that I would want him to start. And I don't like saying that because he's such a big player for Scotland, such a, he's made such a contribution. He's a Rolls Royce when he's at the top of his game. I don't think he's anywhere near the top of his game. Maybe he's been playing with an injury. That's a concern for Celtic.
That's a good thing for Kieran Tierney and Celtic. He's now got 2 weeks
to get fit,
try and get a bit of fitness back, isn't it?
I wonder if as well he's been encouraged by Brendan Rodgers just to look, come on, you're nowhere near it just now. Let's get you in the gym, let's get a bit of rehab, whatever it is. But anyway, I think it solves a problem for Steve Clarke. I think it means that we will go with a back four. And then it's question, Scott, how do we get Ben Doak into that starting 11? Because I think that's necessary as well. My own view is that you go with a back four. Aaron Hickey, I wanted him to start regardless, but Anthony Ralston not being here, I think Hickey has to start at right back. Andy Robertson left back. I'm going probably Hanley and John Souttar. It's your centre halves. Then in midfield, I think I'll go for almost like a box with Lewis Ferguson and Billy Gilmore sitting a little bit deeper with John McGinn and Scott McTominay a little bit more advanced. Then I'm letting Dendel play what he wants to play, effectively coming chiefly from the right-hand side, and probably see Adams starting. I'd like to see the lad. I'd love to see Kieran Bowie. I think this might be too much too soon for him. We've got a Serie A striker who, by the way, is playing really well for Torino, Shea Adams. I think he starts. I don't know what your team is, but that's mine.
No, I'm pretty much along the same lines. I think they're right. Maybe not so much a box. I think John McGinn will probably need to play off a side.
But he's done that before.
Aye, he's done it.
And so has Scott McTominay.
Aye, and he does it for Villa. McTominay, you just have to play in that number 10 goal, that because he's form, because he's goal scoring ability with Napoli and with Scotland. So, but I pretty much agree. I mean, look, Kenny McLean, because Steve Clarke's such a fan, will be pushing for a start as one of those sitters because he does offer you that bit of balance on the left side. But I agree. I don't think Lewis Ferguson's been great in a Scotland jersey, I must admit. But he's a top player, playing in a top league. I know he's not played too much for Bologna yet this season, but I would still go with him beside Billy Gilmore. I agree with you, and McTominay ahead of him. And again, Kieran Bowie deserves a crack. I mean, he's in top form, but it's Steve Clarke we're talking about. He doesn't make wholesale changes. He generally doesn't throw kids in, or young players in. Doak has been the exception probably to that. Maybe Billy Gilmore, but as you say, he's got a Serie A striker there. Shea Adams, tried and tested for Scotland. I expect him to start.
Yeah.
As you say, Hickey is an interesting one because he's not played a lot of football 2 years out. I mean, it's a big ask for him to get and start a game, but I think by calling him into the squad, Steve Clarke will almost have kind of had permission, if you like, to take him and start.
I think Brentford won.
Make a game.
I think Brentford won. We played. I know I was down speaking to Bram Hickey at Hampden a couple of days ago. I know how much he wants to play. He's not here just to be a passenger. He wants to be a part of it. He says he's absolutely fit, ready to go. He's played in a couple of friendlies with Brentford. So no, I see no reason why. And we're desperate to get him back because he's a real upgrade. No offence to Anthony Ralston, who's come in and he's put the graft in a Scotland shirt. But Hickey's on a different level for me. So I think if we can get him back into the team.
And also, in simple terms, this is a massive game for Scotland. Steve Clarke needs best possible 11 out in the pitch. I mean, so we were talking about this yesterday. It's almost like these World Cup qualifiers have kind of crept up on us because of everything that's happening back home domestically and with the transfer window. But this is an absolutely huge game for Scotland and Steve Clarke. Condensed, small section to get the World Cup.
It's made over 3 months. It's over on November 18th. I mean, usually these World Cup campaigns go on for feels like a season and a half. By November 18, when Denmark flip the fixture and come back at Hampden, it's over. So we've got 3 months to reach the World Cup. Now, I know, guys back home, everybody's looking at the bonfire or the bin fire that's happening at Celtic Park. Everybody's looking at the £10 million the Rangers have set aside for a striker that has forgotten how to score goals. I realise that everybody's attention is fully, probably even now, still fixed. You see, come kick-off time here tomorrow night, all eyes are on this because it's going to be so intense. It's so important that we get off the flat, and it's the World Cup. And Scotland haven't been one. I don't need to remind anybody since France '98. This is as important as it gets. And I think, I get it. I get why everybody's distracted. But by the time the ball starts to roll at Parkin Stadium tomorrow night, this is it.
And I don't want to be negative or pessimistic ahead of the game because nobody wants to get a World Cup or get Scotland get a World Cup over me. But see, if you don't take it, and Steve Clarke comes under pressure again. Like this manager. The form isn't great. You think back to we were at the Euros, obviously coming back how down we were.
Picked
up again, but has slightly tailed off the Greece game at home recently. The Scotland were really poor. Just think it's imperative that Scotland take something for this game against Denmark to get the section off to a flyer. You then go and play Belarus. You should be the whipping boys in the group. Or away from Belgium. Many times you say that. You need to beat them, obviously. So, honestly, this first game, away from home against a right good side, Steve Clarke needs all his best players on the pitch. Get back to the original point. I think that's why Hickey, even with Anthony Ralston in this squad, I think Hickey would have followed us that.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I sense some negativity. We travelled out here with some other journalists with other papers, and I did sense negativity. I don't think you're as optimistic as you would usually be. I'm the opposite because I know what this side is. I know the quality of players we've got, and I've watched them in the qualifiers. They're a different animal, a different beast when they know what's on the line. This is the biggest thing that'll ever be on the line. It's a World Cup. These boys might not get too many chances at it, and we've got a really talented group, the most talented group of Scotland players I can remember. I swear, I'm going back to they're more talented than the group that went to France '98. This is their opportunity. And I think they'll grasp it. I think they'll grasp it. And I tell you what, I've watched them, Scott, go away to difficult places and manage to keep the ball. It's not like watching Scotland. Usually we're a hear them, scare them, launch it, defend the box. This group of players are better than that. I think we're capable of controlling long spells of this game. And I'm going to take us to win it. I think we're going to win it 2-1.
Well, I've went for a draw in the paper, and that's me trying to be positive and optimistic. Honestly, I think it's a really tough game. I had Denmark with some top players, and look, see if we can get a draw here, Jack. Well, I'd bite your hand off.
Listen,
I think 4 points for these two games. Huge result.
4 points would be brilliant, but I think we can do better. I think we can get 6, and I think if we get 6, we're on our way.
Well, it sets up perfectly. If you get 6, even 4, sets you up perfectly for 2 home games at Hampden next month. And that's when you can really kick on and basically stand with authority of the group. Do you know what I mean? After 4 games, as you say, a month later, we'll know if we're going or not.
Scott, I can tell you're getting hungry already.
Hungry, time for a shot of that. Roller coaster event there, I know.
So there's a curry shop over there. Why don't we go for a curry and then put you on the roller coaster and see how that goes?
That would be a good mix for the evening.
And then we've got Scotland arrive later on this afternoon. Steve Clarke press conference at Park and Stadium later. So look, for all the updates, try and get interested people. It actually means quite a lot. We'll be here, Record Sport, online, in print, all the usual places. And good luck Scotland tomorrow.